Hello and welcome to the 2014 season orientation presentation. My name is Dave Prada and I am the operations manager here at the Fear at Fort Adams. Just a little bit about myself. I have been involved with Fortress of Nightmares and now Fear at Fort Adams for the past 8 of the 10 years. I am a volunteer for the fort. I'm also a member of the board of directors for the Fort Adams Trust. So to get started pretty quickly, we'll just dive right in. And in this presentation, we'll be covering kind of a lot of information. So just kind of bear with me and we'll get through it pretty quick. I hope to make it less than a half hour. I don't want to take up too much of your time. So we'll start off with a brief overview. It is our 10th year of Fear, and we're going to go over pretty much almost everything you need to know. If there are any questions, feel free to comment, write them in the comments below, and we'll respond to them as quickly as we can. So Fort Adams is the largest coastal fortification in the United States. So be ready. It's very large. There'll be a lot of walking. The main gate here is the East Gate, and that is the volunteer entrance, as well as the main entrance for the attraction. Volunteer check-in and check-out. Very important every day. When you arrive, make sure you make your way over to the volunteer area and check in. From the East Gate entrance, you're going to proceed to the overnight barracks, and once you check in, you can begin getting into costume and putting on some makeup. If you are part of our security or operations teams, same thing from the East Gate. Just go over to the security office, and the door will be marked, so you'll know where you're going. Here's a top view of the fort. This is the first of many of this image. So the East Gate entrance is right there where the cursor is. And right around the corner there is the volunteer area. So you're going to basically walk in, take a sharp right, and a second right, and you'll be right where you need to be. Our attractions this year consist of the Haunted Officers' Quarters, Tunnels of Terror, Carnival Midway, and just 3, sorry. Excuse me. The Haunted Officers' Quarters are right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse pointing. Hope you can. They are located in the preserved section of the fort, not a restored section, just preserved. And this attraction will feature the officers' quarters, where the officers lived when they lived in the fort. And if this is the section to where you're assigned, then your role is to startle guests and guide them through the layout by scaring them. And we'll go over some scaring techniques as well. So again, just in case you can't see the pointer, the yellow dot right there is the Haunted Officers' Quarters. We do have a Carnival Midway with fun carnival games and prizes as well. So the volunteers that staff this attraction will be in charge of selling tickets and overseeing the gameplay and prizes. The Tunnels of Terror is located in the southwest corner of the fort, and that is where a majority of, you will be volunteering and spending most of your time. If you do have any medical conditions that we should know about that could be agitated by fog, strobe lights, UV lighting, laser lights, or if you're claustrophobic, make sure you let us know so that you're not volunteering inside the tunnels. If that's something that prevents you from volunteering in that section, that is fine. There's plenty of other opportunities all around the fort that don't involve any of those triggers. So you see the yellow dot again over here. Tunnels of Terror. Fills this whole back section. the largest part of our event this year. So when you first arrive, all volunteers should plan to arrive by 5 p.m. And that's pretty important. You're going to want to check in. If you're part of the scare team, you'll obtain a scaring location and proceed to costume and makeup. For security, you'll check in at the security office and wait there until dispatched. Volunteer care and operations both sign in with a member of management first and then begin the nightly checklists. On the first night that you volunteer, we'll have extra staff on hand to guide everybody through where they're supposed to be and what's supposed to be happening. So don't stress out over any of this, really. The East Gate entrance will only be open for volunteers from 4:40 to 5 o'clock. I'm sorry, till 5:15, and then we close that gate until we open at 6 p.m. We do that because we don't want customers walking through the area while we're trying to get set up. So here's an arrow. I went a little arrow crazy here, and here's the flow. So East Gate entrance is the very large arrow at the top pointing to the yellow dot. And you just follow this around and end up at the volunteer check-in area inside the restored barracks. We will have staff on hand to guide you. So, you are part of the scare team. This is scare team information right here. Please do not leave your location open. If you must leave your location for any reason, make sure that you inform a member of security and they will either find someone to take your spot or backfill it themselves. No food or sugary drinks are allowed in the tunnels of terror or the officers' quarters. We do allow water. And our concern here is skunks and raccoons, and we don't want them to come in and steal your snacks. We do have snacks and beverages available each night inside the barracks, which is the same spot that you'll be checking in and out of each night. And we'll have a team of volunteer care members, and they will come around periodically throughout the night and bring you snacks and drinks to your scaring locations. And as soon as you're done, we'll immediately take the trash out. Closing time is at 10 p.m. However, that's when we stop selling tickets. So there are some busier nights, mainly this year on the 18th and possibly the 25th, where we may run a little bit after 10 or up to 11 p.m. And that happens because just because we stop selling tickets at 10, we potentially could have, a few hundred people in line waiting to go through all of the attractions. So it's pretty important that you wait for us to call the close before you leave. All volunteers must sign out for the night inside of the barracks. Again, that's the same place where you check in. It's very important that you sign out because at the end of the night, we go to run a report, find out if anybody missed their sign out, and we usually don't get to that until about midnight. So there's a good chance that if you don't sign out, you could get a phone call asking if you left because we don't want to lock you in the fort. And again, security will announce the closing time and will patrol the fort from the front to the back and make sure all the volunteers have been accounted for. So again, make sure you sign out. That is very important. Scaring, the fun part. Please follow the information that we have listed below. All of this information that we're going to be speaking about from here on out is in the volunteer packet that was emailed to you. I just want to go over it, to make sure that I cover all the material. I'm just probably going to skip around because you do have all of this information handy. So I'll just point out the important parts. The first thing is you always want to scare forward. And that is to prevent accidents. If you jump out in front of someone's face, they stop moving, They turn around. They might run. They could take an adverse reaction and hit you or punch you. So you always want to minimize those risks and delays. And scare from the side, from behind. Oftentimes, it depends on where you are in the tunnels, but you can scare from the bottom by, crouching down and jumping up and moving out of their way quickly. Scare sideways when it is safe to do so. Always keep the arm's length rule in mind. Always, always, always stay at least one arm's length away from the person that you are scaring. You should never say boo. Boo is just not scary. Try to be creative. Find out what room you're in. Use your surroundings to enhance the scare. Sometimes there will be more than one person in the room with you, so work together. One person distract, one person. Even if you're an operations team member, don't be afraid to scare your way through the fort. It's a lot of fun. You should never ever climb on or over the wooden wall panels in the Tunnels of Terror. And do not adjust any lighting or turn any fog machines on or off. If you notice that something is out of place or your room is excessively fogged in, please notify an operations team member, and they will do what they can to remedy the situation. Community service hours. You are all volunteers, and for that we thank you. Your hours are tracked using the volunteer computer system. When you check in and out each night, your hours are automatically logged, so we'll keep track of them for you. And at the conclusion of the event, we send out an email with your total hours for the season. If you have a form that you have to have signed, make sure that before you leave at night, you have one of the management team members sign off on that for you. Myself or Rob McCormick, the Director of Visitor Services at the Fort Adams Trust, can sign that form for you. If you do have your own form that you're tracking your hours on, please continue to use our system as well, so that we can track your hours for our own records. A couple of policies and procedural stuff from here on out. Cell phones in the tunnels should always be on silent. To be perfectly honest with you, cell phones don't really work inside the tunnels for obvious reasons. You're 3 feet of granite brick and mortar all around you, so it's pretty difficult to get cell phone reception inside. Also, if you choose to bring it with you, that's your responsibility, and we're not to be held responsible for any damage or loss or theft. We do ask that if you bring your phone with you, that you not use it while you're scaring. Smoking is not allowed inside the tunnels or anywhere in the fort for that matter. If you do smoke, you'll have to go outside of the gates. If you're asthmatic or you have a known medical condition, especially epilepsy, it is not suggested to volunteer inside the Tunnels of Terror. You may, however, volunteer in other places, so we'd be more than happy to accommodate you in another location. The break and rest area is the barracks, the same spot where you check in and check out every night, and the same place where we have costume and makeup. We'll have hot chocolate, drinks, and snacks available all night, and that's also where the restrooms are located. You're going to want to make sure that you use the restrooms before you go out to the Tunnels of Terror, because it's quite a long walk. You're going to have to walk across 6.5 acres of parade field to get to the restroom, so make sure you go before you head out. We're perfectly aware that accidents happen, so if you're using a piece of Fort Adams property and it breaks, we just ask that you make sure that the area is clean and you just return it to the barracks so that we can either try and fix whatever is damaged or get something new. Cleanliness in the tunnels, very important. Again, it goes back to the raccoons and the skunks. Just make sure that you clean the area that you're scaring in when you leave for the night. For security, the office for security is located just in front of the volunteer check-in area at the restored barracks. I've jumped ahead of myself, but that's okay. Please know that there is no safe place for us to store your personal items. If you do have any problems with patrons, please report them to a security team member who will handle the situation for you. When you do report a customer, make sure that you get as good of a description as you can. We realize that we're pretty much operating in the dark, so a good description will help us better locate the customer that you're having trouble with. For security team members, we have a couple of codes that we like to use. 12, 21, and code red. We do have scared children every once in a while who like to either run away or hide, and we'll have to go in after them and escort them out or try to find them. Code 21 is an intoxicated patron. We always try to keep people who are intoxicated out of the tunnels of terror because it is not safe for them to go through. And code red is a medical emergency. And we do have first responders on site each night. And myself, Jim, our security manager, or Rob, will handle all code red situations. And we will work closely with our security team members this year to make sure everyone is well aware of what to do in those situations. Some important safety information. The Tunnels of Terror and, well, Fort Adams in general is not equipped with fire suppression systems. So we have to bring in a number of portable fire extinguishers. As volunteers, you'll be the first line of defense in a fire situation. We are not asking you to put out a fire. We just need you to be aware that fire extinguishers are located in the tunnels and they are to be used in emergencies only. The best way to use a fire extinguisher is to first know where it is, grab it, and take it to the scene of the fire. You first pull the pin, you aim the nozzle, squeeze the trigger, and sweep the base. We do have fire fighters on location each night, so if you feel that it's a small enough situation where you can handle it, make sure you let security know first. They will reach out to the firefighters who are on scene and then handle the situation from there. So just for your information, that's how to use a fire extinguisher. Know that they are located in the tunnels. You should also take the time to know where in the tunnels they are located. And if you are close enough to one and it is safe enough to do so, feel free to use them. So just a quick thank you and a couple of reminders here. Make sure that you sign a waiver electronically prior to the first night that you volunteer. If you are under 18, you'll have to have your parent or guardian sign the waiver for you. So you can just print one out online and bring it with you the first night that you volunteer. Another one, arrive on time. Very important because you don't want to be stuck outside with customers while you're trying to get in. It gets messy. And make sure you have fun because scaring other people is really quite the thrill. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments below, or you can give me a call. My number is on the emails that go out, so you should have my number already. You can call the Fort Adams Trust. Their number is on fortadams.org, and our other contact information is online at fear.fortadams.org. And I look forward to working with you all, and I'll see you this season. So thank you.